Yeah, so my name is Webb, and I currently serve as scholar in residence of the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference. And while at the Proctor Conference, in addition to researching and writing on issues of race and global human rights, I also manage our organization's portfolio on justice in Israel and Palestine, and we're working on a project now that's specifically interested in mobilizing the African American faith community towards Palestinian justice. When I think about the future and the possibilities there, I'm hopeful about the coalition building that can happen across different contexts, but I want to be careful to note the fact that type of coalition building can only happen, and it can best happen when folks are willing and able to come to the table and really be transparent about their own stories, be real with themselves about being willing to sit with the stories of others, and kind of building from that point. Yes, I think one of the first things and the important things that we are starting to do but need to do more of is, call it like we see it. We need to be real about calling racial supremacy, right? And be real about calling racism, and be real about calling colonialism, calling state violence what it is, and be transparent about that. We're in a moment where there's an apprehension around certain conversations. Folks don't like to talk about race and racism until you on the bad end of that stick, and you have to call a spade a spade. I think that is critically important. And to the question of, to your point about being in a nation in the United States, that is in a lot of important ways in bed with Israel. I mean, and that's a fact, right?
That's a fact.
And when you look at our taxpayer dollars going to furthering the illegal occupation, right? The illegal occupation of a group of people of color in Israel, and also having another portion of our taxpayer dollars doing things like contributing and paying our local police departments to massacre our communities. So in being real with ourselves about that, part of what we have to do is what we've been doing, speaking up about state-sanctioned police violence and militarized police violence, and speaking up about injustice where we see it. Yes, so I want to be clear that I do believe in the power and the importance of building coalitions across different lines of race, ethnicity, national origin, and religious lines. I think that work is important, and I think there are a lot of possibilities there. But I want us to be mindful that in the work of that coalition building, everybody that's coming to the table has to be mindful about how they enter that conversation and why they're entering that conversation in the first place, right? We're in a moment where, and we've seen this in the recent months in particular, where Black folks are crafting out their own spaces in writing and the creative arts and civil unrest and protest. We're crafting out their own spaces to communicate their own concerns and our own concerns, and these spaces are immediately co-opted, right? So we stand to tell the world that Black Lives Matter because we still have to say that, and the immediate response from the world is all lives matter. And the only thing that this response does is it silences the specificity of what it means to be a Black person in this country, what it means to be a Black person in America. And I think that's something we need to never forget.